Budapest, city of blood and bravery, tragedy and hope, come the first pictures of the battle which has shaken the world, and of its aftermath. Here, in a few fierce days, the post-war drama of Eastern Europe reached its climax. Tanks fought against civilians, and army against secret police, where a few days ago, all had seemed quiet on the surface.
In 1956, the Hungarian civilians rebelled against the Russians who had control over their country. The revolution turned into numerous bloody battles on the streets all over Hungary, but none worse than in Budapest. Roughly 4,000 people died in these battles, and a further 200,000 people fled the country. Among the people who fled was my granddad, Alex Sovaslawi, who fled to England. Over the next few days, I'm going to spend some time with my granddad, exploring what it was like to move to a foreign country at such a young age.
So you arrived there by boat before, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We arrived 2 o'clock in the morning, extremely tired after nearly 36 hours of train journey. And we arrived at that building, which is the old station. And they took us up by buses to the castle.
When my granddad came over to England, Dover Castle was part of a military camp, which is where he spent his first fortnight in England. The government officials who oversaw Dover Castle determined which immigrants would go where. They were organised in terms of skills and preference as to where they would like to go. Out of all the 20,000 immigrants from Hungary, roughly 2/3 carried on their travels to America or Canada, leaving roughly 7,000 people to be distributed around the UK. After spending 2 weeks in Dover, he moved to Letchworth, where he found a job in a warehouse fixing automatic gearboxes. During the 1950s, Britain's industry was booming and needed more workforce. There was full employment around the country, and rationing had been phased out by 1954. The then Prime Minister, Harold Macmillan, in his famous speech said, "Most of our people have never had it so good." My granddad arrived in England a ready-made skilled worker, having completed his education in Hungary, and had a job within 3 days of moving to Letchworth. In Dover and then came by train to Letchworth and worked as an engineer. What was that?
Yes, we arrived quite late, so I can't really remember much of the station, but we arrived something like midnight, and then they'd taken us up to the which it was a hostel, which I wouldn't be surprised it was a prisoner of war camp. But it's quite nice. We had our own rooms. The bathroom was at the far end of a corridor, but they were very clean, and we had day rooms and all sorts. And we got jobs straight away. Within 3 days, we had a job in American gearbox, automatic gearbox company, where I worked for a year, which we liked very much, like Letchworth, although at the age of 20 it was a bit quiet, so that's how I finished up in Luton.
After a few years of finding his feet in Letchworth, he moved to Luton, where he met his wife Audrey. The next 50 years had several significant events, like having 3 children, 4 house moves, a business in plastic bag production, and eventually retiring to the small village of Barton-le-Clay. If you could give some advice to people out there, what would you say?
One thing I have learned, and it's a weird, strange thing, so I can't explain it why, but what they say that your gut feeling, act on it. When you decide to make a major decision like changing a house or change a car or take an expensive holiday, trust your instinct, your gut feeling. If something niggles you, don't do it, then don't. On the other hand, if I look back about regrets, I think the only regrets I have is that not what I've done, but what I haven't done. So if you have opportunity to do things, do it, but don't overdo it.